103. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, yet again to the Scoreboard as Brian heads out of the studio. Hope everybody enjoyed that show. Brian always does a great job here. He always has a guest joining him in studio, on the phone, on Zoom. Well, guess what? He's not the only one with guests. Yeah, that's right. The Scoreboard has a guest today. What? We will, after the 6:30 hour break. We're going to have a guest not in studio. He's going to be joining us on Zoom. But we have Josh Greco, the CEO of the Charlotte Street Hockey League. He will be joining me for the second half of the show today to talk about, the local Charlotte Street Hockey League. So if you like hockey, make sure you tune into that. That'll be coming up a little later in the show. But before we get to this interview, we have a lot of breaking news to get to, and I mean a lot. Like, I was sitting here before the show trying to figure out how am I supposed to fit all of this into the show today, because it's like you know what it is? The NFL season started. Now, not technically, the games aren't started yet, but training camp, full swing. And here we go, developing story from about a couple hours ago. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow was carted off the field after suffering a calf injury in practice, and so it begins. Man, Joe Burrow getting carted off. Remember last year, or it was right around the same time, when Joe Burrow had to leave for a medical procedure for a little bit, and now he has a apparent calf injury. Now, last year, literally on July 26th, today is July 27th, so a year ago yesterday, Burrow had an appendectomy. Today, he was carted off the field with a calf injury. Now, this is an apparent calf injury. There's no real word on the severity of it yet, but if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're watching, on the website, I do have the video of the injury. We do have that. So I'm going to bring that to you here in a couple of minutes. But just know that this is going to happen for the next month. We're going to hear about players being injured, players being out due to injuries sustained during training camp. And it is probably the worst injury that you can get, is one in training camp before the season even starts, because look, you're just trying to make it to opening day. I mean, we got, 2 months left? 50 days or so, a little less than that, until week 1 of the NFL season. We're coming up on preseason here real fast, and the injuries are going to keep coming. So Joe Burrow carted off the field. I do have that video. Like I said, I promise I have the video. Let's go ahead, take a look at it. If you're listening on the radio, this one isn't really for you. Unfortunately, there's really nothing to hear with this. We have the video of the injury, and it doesn't look good. So a little bit hard to see, but Burrow limping after he tried to roll right in the pocket. And then you got to remember, this is all no contact. They're still not hitting. I mean, they have some pads on, some helmets on. Non-contact leg injuries are the scariest, and they always have been. We see it every year. Somebody goes down with either an ACL tear or an Achilles injury. I'm a little bit scared that this could be an Achilles injury if they're calling it calf. Maybe we can, gather around and just wish Joe Burrow back to health, because it would be a real shame to lose him for another year. Remember, he's already missed time due to an ACL injury. So Missing him again, that's a couple of major injuries that he would have in a short time span. And he's, like we talked about yesterday, he's next up on the list for getting an extension. He is due an extension, and you can't be getting hurt. Oh, man. This is going to be, if this is a major injury, we're going to do a little bit of speculating here. If, let's say he suffered an Achilles injury and he's out for the year, do you sign him to a long-term deal? Second major injury? I would hesitate. I might think about the franchise tag. As a matter of fact, I would give him the franchise tag because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Now, when he is healthy, he's great, and we know this, and we saw the way that negotiations could go with an injured star quarterback with Lamar Jackson. That was a conversation for over a year and a half. Is he going to get paid? How much guaranteed money is he going to get? He got franchise tagged. He got the non-exclusive franchise tag. There was a lot to unpack with that, and there's going to be a lot with this because Burrow, I hate to say it, but he's more valuable than Lamar Jackson. He has to be, right? He's been to a Super Bowl. He has to be more valuable. He has to get a little bit more money. That's how these things work now in the NFL. But going down with an injury in training camp, that's tough. All right, 704-873-1400. Got a little bit ahead of myself here. You're listening to the Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9, 100.7. Make sure you call in the first half of the show today because like I mentioned at the beginning, we will have a guest. Right around 6:35 or so when we come back from break, Josh Greco, CEO of the Charlotte Street Hockey League, will be joining us. So make sure you stay tuned for that. All right. So we broke some news here that, already with the Joe Burrow injury. We had another injury. And it's something where when you see these injuries now, you're going to say, oh boy, is it big? Oh boy, is it important? So Jalen Ramsey left practice for the Dolphins early with an apparent leg injury. That's all we know on that one. So we'll see if these injuries are, in fact, long-term. And long-term injuries in training camp are the worst that you can get. I also want to bring in some sound here from Saquon Barkley because he talked to the media a little bit today at camp, and he spoke about his decision to sign his deal and play on the one-year deal with the Giants instead of holding out. He said he had an epiphany. Now, I don't know what kind of an epiphany he had, but we're just going to go ahead and let Saquon tell us about that epiphany.
I could sit here and lie to you and be like, I wasn't disappointed or I wasn't this and now the third. I mean, that would just be a flat-out lie. But I am mature enough to understand that's a business. Understand that deals don't get done every year. And specific to my position, we didn't get a deal done. Me and my team felt like we were in good faith trying to get a deal done. The Giants felt like they were in a good faith trying to get a deal done. And that's life. Sometimes you come to agreement. And I had to come to a decision. And like I said, I had an epiphany. I had a mindset of what I was going to do. But I changed my mind, and as wise words of a lot of vets and who reached out to me and who said some stuff on the news and media, when you show up, you can't have that in your heart. It's not a good thing having your heart. So I put all that aside, and my focus on my teammates, everyone in that building, and the fans, and go out here and have a hell of a year.
I hope that the epiphany that he had was what I've been talking about for the past few days, and that's if you sit out, you're going to be in trouble. They're not going to want you the year after. But we're quickly approaching the first break of the show. So make sure you stay tuned here on the Scoreboard, WSIC. If you want to call in, 704-873-1400. You're only going to have one more segment to call, so get them in and stay tuned. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC News Talk Now. Stay up to date with the latest in your community, state, and nation. WSIC News Talk Now.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic Downtown Walking Tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. Are you a movie lover? Statesville's Parks and Rec Department will be having their Movies in the Park series on Friday, July 28th. They will be playing Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Seating opens at 8 o'clock and the movie will begin at 8:45. Refreshments will be available. Everything is $1. Bring your blanket and lawn chairs and enjoy a movie in the park. For more info, visit statesvillenc.com. Do you enjoy making pottery? Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius has Ceramics Open Studio. Select Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can become the clay artist you were always meant to be. You must register in person. For the full schedule, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Grab your safety goggles for some mad science involving deadly cobras, irate Irishmen, and the occasional airship. Davidson community players will be presenting the Explorers Club on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays through July. For more information on show times and to buy your tickets, visit davidsoncommunityplayers.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Dan Sutton with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 73 and southwest winds 5 to 7 miles per hour. Friday, sunny and hot with a high near 96 and southwest winds around 8 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 74 and southwest winds 5 to 7 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny and hot with a high near 96 and southwest winds around 8 miles.
Hi folks, Pat Shannon inviting you to join me for the Home Ad Show. We help you sell things, buy things, celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and have a lot of fun in the process. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11, here on News Talk WSIC.
Where the heart of Lake Norman lives. WSIC News Talk Now.
Good morning.
Enjoy that morning coffee with Justin Kazepis.
Hope, how we doing this morning?
You know, it was a little rough period there, but I'm getting my happiness back, and you're absolutely helping.
It's Good Morning LKN, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on WSIC.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7. If you want to call, be a part of the show, you can do that. You got one more segment to do it because we do have a guest today. 704-873-1400. Talking a little bit about the NFL. Some injuries. Joe Burrow, is he going to be okay? It's tough. There's some other things going on in the NFL here. We have some visits, and first of all, free agent running back Dalvin Cook visiting the Jets this weekend. We talked about it yesterday. Aaron Rodgers took that pay cut, $35 million pay cut, by the way. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be using that money that they saved for a real nice, shiny running back. Because I don't know if Breece Hall is going to be ready. I don't know if he's going to be the same that he was before the injury. I would hope so. We've seen players come back from ACL injuries now and not really miss too much of a beat. So it could be just a little bit of an insurance policy there on the Jets, but we'll see. Speaking of free agents, as of yesterday, all 32 teams were in training camp. Here are some notable free agents that still remain. It's a long list of guys that are unsigned. We're going to start with some of the heavy hitters here. We got Dalvin Cook, Julio Jones, Melvin Ingram, Jarvis Landry, Taylor Lewan, Yannick Ngakoue, Ezekiel Elliott, Matt Ryan, Eric Ebron, Eli Apple, Kareem Hunt, Kenny Galladay, Leonard Fournette, Jadeveon Clowney, Mercedes Lewis, Logan Ryan. Let's see, we got a lot of names. Kyle Van Noy, T.Y. Hilton, Miles Jack. These are names. Teddy Bridgewater, Anthony Barr, all unsigned. That's interesting. That's quite a few names. And it's not like every single one of these players is washed up. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe Dalvin Cook is. I don't believe Melvin Ingram is. Carson Wentz is still out there. Interesting if you ask me. But what am I to say? Who knows? Those are just some of the free agents that are still available in the NFL. And this list is long. I did not come anywhere near reading all of the notable names that are on this free agent list. Robert Quinn. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Who else? Who are some other notable players? Hey, kicker Robbie Gould. Notable free agent still. Andrew Adams, Eric Fisher. Man. Bryce Callahan, Kenyon Drake. These are all players who have made some impacts in the past. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure as we get these injuries, let's say the Burrow injury is serious. Maybe they bring in Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, something like that. You're going to need somebody. I think Dalvin's going to be the first player off this list of notable players that are going to get signed. Obviously, with him visiting teams, it's a little more imminent. But there, man, Eric Ebron, Eli Apple, Zeke Elliott is kind of insane to me that he is still unsigned. But nonetheless, those are some of the players that still need a contract this year. Okay, we got about, let's see, what do we have here? We have about 7 minutes until our guest joins us for the second half of the show. So we need to speed through the rest of this because there's a lot of news to get to. FIFA Women's World Cup yesterday. Team USA played the Netherlands to a 1-1 draw. Oh no, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, how we expect Team USA to win at this point. And rightfully so. They've been dominant for the past few years in the Women's World Cup and in the women's game in general. But they played the Netherlands, a rematch of the 2019 final, and it ended up being a 1-1 draw. Team USA got outplayed in the first half pretty badly. And then in the second half, just unable to capitalize on numerous opportunities. Corners, crosses, plenty of shots, a couple of offsides. Alex Morgan scored a goal that was called back for an offside. They haven't clinched yet. There's no need to panic yet. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're definitely gonna make the knockout stage at this point. Anything can happen. So we'll see what happens there. Next game for Team USA isn't until Tuesday. So we have quite a bit of a wait to get there. Now, they beat Vietnam, and we'll have to see what happens in the Vietnam game when they play the Netherlands. That also being on Tuesday. Now, these games are a little bit more reasonable. Not 3 o'clock in the morning. USA, Portugal. Whoo! That'll be fun. But Team USA with the draw. If they draw, they're in. Cool. If they win, they're in. Cool. Vietnam loses their game to the Netherlands, they're in. Cool. So there's a lot of ways that Team USA can make the knockout stage, but we need to pump the brakes now because they haven't showed us that they are the top tier team that we think they've been over the past few years. Okay. MLB news. Big MLB news last night. Shohei Ohtani. First of all, Shohei Ohtani hit 2 home runs and threw a 1-hitter yesterday. Ridiculous. And I think the Angels have now realized how ridiculous of a player he is because they took him off the trade block. They said nobody can have him anymore, which leaves only one logical solution to this. Only one. You have to sign him long term. You have to at this point. There's going to be a reckoning if they don't sign him long term. This is like, I haven't even heard anything about a possible extension. It's been reported that Ohtani wanted to stay because they are in this decent playoff push here. I mean, they're not completely in it, but they're not completely out of it yet. They've had a good run here lately. Only 3.5 games out of the wild card, 8-2 in their last 10, and they're doing this all without Mike Trout. So they have a push that they're making. Oh boy, we have breaking news here. We have breaking news. We have a lot of breaking news. Okay. We talked about the injuries in training camp. One update, Jalen Ramsey, he is expected to have knee surgery. He will be missing the start of the regular season. I don't know how long he's going to be out. Apparently his ACL is intact. This is tough because, I mean, Jalen Ramsey is still a very good cornerback. Not quite the wrecker that he used to be, but still very good. And the Dolphins' defense would have looked 10 times better with him out there, but he's going to be out for a while. We'll see how much time he misses now, but not great. He does need surgery. He's going to miss the regular season, and it's not believed to be season-ending. That's one. Number 2, update on Joe Burrow. Bengals sources have confirmed what Zach Taylor shared after practice. Burrow only has a strained calf. Big bullet dodge there. That is for sure. Calf strain, he shouldn't be out all too long. He'll be back. He'll be fine. No issues with that. So the number for Jalen Ramsey, as reports continue to come in, this from Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, Jalen Ramsey expected to miss at least 6 to 8 weeks because of a meniscus injury that will require surgery. Doctors will determine whether to remove the meniscus or repair it, which would be a much longer recovery. Remove them? I didn't know you could, still be athletic without a meniscus, but what do I know? I'm not a medical doctor. So there's your breaking news, your update so far on the situation with the injuries sustained today during training camp. Back to the baseball talk. Ohtani is not on the table anymore. So apparently the offers that the Angels were getting for Ohtani were so underwhelming that they just didn't even want to talk about it anymore. And they said, all right, well, if he wants to stay and they're not giving us what we want, we're going to keep him. But like I said, and I'm going to be all kinds of upset if he doesn't get signed by the Angels now because it's a mistake. He needs to be re-signed and stay in Anaheim. You cannot lose a player of that caliber for nothing. You can't let him walk. Whatever it takes. Give him stake in the team for all I care. Let him know, hey, if you stay with us, you're going to get 10% of all the revenue of the team. I mean, that's probably a little much, but something. He's got to stick around. You can't lose him. Oh boy, we'll see what happens. And I don't know if he's actually going to be off the block. Now, the Angels did make a trade for a couple of pitchers in Giolito and Lopez. So we'll see. We will see. We're coming up on our second break of the day, though. When we come back, we will have Josh Greco join us from the Charlotte Street Hockey League, CEO of the league. Going to be a good talk when we return, so make sure you stay tuned here on WSIC. This is The Scoreboard with Joe Berg.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC News Talk Now. Local news and weather now on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. News, talk, now.
I'm Mike Jackson, WSIC News. The Statesville Convention and Visitors Bureau hosted the second annual Celebrate Statesville Tourism Summit on Wednesday. The event highlighted the impact of tourism on local economy and its role in economic development. Held at the Statesville Civic Center, the summit attracted dozens of civic leaders and tourism industry professionals. And the Tribal Council for North Carolina's Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians will let residents decide whether to allow adult-use marijuana sales on its land. Residents will decide on the measure on September 7th. If approved, the measure would permit residents to legally possess cannabis and engage in retail sales. Cannabis sales would initially be restricted to tribal residents, but would eventually be opened up to the general public. Members of the tribe already engaged.
Josh Greco, you got me?
What's up, man?
All right,
I
awesome.
do.
Perfect. So we got about 4 minutes left on the commercial. Anything specific that you want me to hit towards the end?
No, I figured a lot of what I would like to talk about will naturally come up. We have a whole bunch of registrations about to release like this weekend, so it's perfect timing.
Awesome. Well, we'll get into it. I'm going to just, obviously, I'll start with your background, where you're from, why you started CSHL, and then we'll get into what's been going on recently.
Okay. Yeah, and just for the record, I actually took over from the person who started it. So I was not the originator, although that's a common misperception.
Okay.
But I'm helping to grow it. Yep.
Got it. All right. Well, we'll get into all of that. We got about 2.5 more minutes, and I'll just start everything once we're back, and then bring in your sound, and we'll be good to go.
Cool.
All right.
Unlocking a second set of hands in the kitchen. If only it unlocked a second set of lanes. New Ziploc brand freezer and storage bags with stay open design from S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Freshness made easy with Febreze Small Spaces.
Want continuous freshness that fights odors with no batteries and no outlets? Try Febreze Small Spaces. Ah, but what's a small space? To answer that, we brought in our lawyer.
Small spaces include, but are not limited to, bathrooms, closets, laundry room, kid room, pet corners, man cave, she sheds, most nooks, and all crannies.
There you go. Febreze Small Spaces is the world's most convenient. Febreze Small Spaces is super convenient and never stops freshening for 45 days.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Black Powder Coffee is celebrating their 10th anniversary with a medium dark roast blend of Indonesian and South American coffee beans. Enjoy the full-bodied natural flavor notes of chocolate with a bright finish. Get Black Powder Coffee's new anniversary blend today at Black Powder Coffee, 261 Rolling Hill Road, Mooresville, or participating retailers everywhere. Black Powder Coffee.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
Call 844-TAX-LAWS, 844-TAX-LAWS, 844-TAX.
Find your fun, find your why at the Statesville Family YMCA. Sign-ups are now underway for K through 5 and teen summer day camp at the Y, as well as overnight and day camp at YMCA Camp Haynes in King. Sign up today at the Statesville Family YMCA, located at 828 Davie Avenue, or call 704-876-9622. Find your fun, find your why at the Statesville Family YMCA. The Ugly Antenna is bringing back old technology to help those without a streaming provider to watch up to 50 channels absolutely free. The Ugly Antenna is not the big, unsightly outdoor antenna of the past. It's new technology that is connected to your TV inside your home. You can get your Ugly Antenna by calling 704-682-1755. The Ugly Antenna isn't really all that ugly. Call 704-682-1755 to get yours today. That's 704-682-1755 for the Ugly Antenna.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions, it's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. We are now going to table the discussion of breaking news and NFL training camp and MLB trade deadline stuff because we have more important fish to fry here. I have with me Josh Greco, the Chief Executive Officer of the Charlotte Street Hockey League. How you doing today, Josh?
Great to be here, Joe. I think in a way this is breaking news, so I appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Yeah, you were telling me during the break that you have some things coming up, but we'll get to that. First, I wanted to start with just an introduction. Tell people who you are, where you're from, why you're so passionate about not only hockey itself, but growing the local community with adult leagues, youth leagues, things like that.
Absolutely. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. Surprise, surprise, hockey. I moved to Charlotte in 2011. And, I had always grown up and been raised with street hockey and roller hockey and always had a blast playing the sport and always had, great connections, great friendships that I made and continued over the years. And I knew what the sport was capable of. And when I moved to Charlotte, there was a very newly formed group that I eventually went on to meet. I didn't meet them right away when I first moved here, but I connected with them around 2015, 2016. And they were slowly, they were very informal at that time, playing pickups and putting together the occasional league. But I slowly started to get more involved and connected with this group and realized we had quite an opportunity to grow the game of hockey here in Charlotte. There's a lot of transplants, a lot of people who appreciate and love the game, and surprisingly, very few places to play. A couple ice rinks in the South Charlotte region, but as far as roller or deck, just spots may pop up here or there over the years, but very, very few places to play. So that quickly became my goal, was to grow the game. I eventually went on to start a youth program, and here we are today. We're boasting our largest membership number of members ever, and we're about to release 4 different types of hockey all on one weekend for our upcoming fall league. So we've got a lot of great things going on, but I've always been passionate about the game. I grew up watching the Sabres with my dad and my family, and there's just something special about hockey. I think if you ever go to a game, it's one of the most exciting sports to watch live. It's so fast paced and depending on the level that you watch, but the guys are usually very skillful, and it's amazing what people can do at such a high level, high pace. Now, of course, that's ice hockey, and this is deck or ball hockey, and we are also introducing roller hockey in our program here. So that's the gist of it. That's a little bit of background rolling into what's going on with CSHL today.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of on the same boat as you there. I just, happened to see it one day, came to a pickup, and, obviously the rest is history. I've been participating in your events for a little over a year now. So I'm on your website right now, taking a look at some of the events that are going on. Tell me about the 2023 Summer Slapper on August 12th.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, quick little plug, charlottestreethockeyleague.org is the website, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit. So we're looking to be involved in the community and give back. And we're putting the finishing touches on the charity and the partnership that we're putting together for that event. So that is an event that is run yearly. We call it the Summer Slapper, and it falls on a different date each year depending on what weekend is available. But we're getting together to celebrate hockey in a tournament-style event. It'll be a schoolyard draft style the morning of the tournament, so that's always fun. It adds a little wrinkle. And we have a handful of spots still left. We're closing in on maxing out our registration. But that tournament will be played at the Morrison YMCA in Ballantyne. They become partners of ours. And for those who don't know, they have an outdoor rink that is quite close to regulations, about 3/4 size, but it's outdoors. It's got dasher boards and glass, and it's on concrete. And they just installed lights over the winter. So this will be our first ever tournament that we start around 5 p.m. and we're going to crown a champion sometime as dusk is falling under the lights. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome to have something going on right as the sun goes down, have your championship game in the dark. Now, you're saying that you guys have gotten some pretty good numbers on this. You're close to maxing out. How many people do you usually have for these tournaments?
That's a good question. So we've had a lot of trial and error with that. In the past, we would have been happy with enough runners, as we call them. They're not skaters, they're runners, to make 4 teams. And I think we could push 8 teams for any tournament that we run. So I think we found a sweet spot with 6 teams. And there's just one rink, so there could be a lot of sitting around with any more teams than that. So 6 teams. The tournament is the games are just 1 period long. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're out there running and when rosters are maxed out at maybe 8 or 9 runners, there's not a lot of substitutes to go around, so you get tired very quickly. So the idea is a fast-paced day where if you're sitting between games, it's not for very long, and you're having a blast out there, and you're connecting with other people in the hockey community, between games, and then we have a brief intermission between our round robin portion of the tournament and then our elimination games, and that's where we make announcements and connect with our group about what we got going on, some upcoming events and some major announcements. For example, new personnel coming in helping out. We're going through that right now. So but yeah, that's the gist of the tournament. It's just a time to get all together between leagues. So we just finished up our summer league, and fall league's not starting for another month or so we got some time. We're just going to run a tournament here and have some fun.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. I'm signed up for it. I'm looking forward to it. Quick, I'll be there. Real quick, we got about 2 minutes before we got to take a break here. I want to make sure while it's fresh in everybody's mind, they know where to go if they want to register, because we do still have, like you said, a few spots left. Where can people go? Who can they contact? How do they get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So the website is charlottestreethockeyleague.org. You should see a sign up link right on the top of the homepage there. It's jumping out with big red letters. And then we're all available to answer any questions or to field, how people might get involved. There's email addresses, I believe, on the website as well. So the main one is cshl@charlottestreethockeyleague.org. And if you got any questions or want to know more about the league or how to sign up for something, that box is manned all the time. We'll get back to you within probably 48 hours.
Now, before we go to the break, how's Waymer looking?
Yeah, Waymer Park, so very excited about that. They're converting the former basketball court to a multi-surface rink. I got pictures as recently as 2 days ago that the first layer of asphalt has been laid. And I think all that's left is the finishing. They're finishing it with like a tennis court material. So phase 1 is already well underway, and I think that's a huge step in the right direction. I think we're going to be on time for our fall league here.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anybody who isn't aware, Waymer Park in Huntersville is where they do a lot of the non-Charlotte events, pickup, rec league, and they're getting a new surface with some dasher boards, I believe, right, are coming in there, and should be a good time once that all gets set up. But we'll look forward to hearing more about that here in a second. We are coming up on our final break of the day. Again, we're talking with Josh Greco, the CEO of the Charlotte Street Hockey League. Make sure you stay tuned here to the Scoreboard on WSIC. We will be right back in about 2.5 minutes.
Hi, this is Mark Walters. Join me on Armed American Radio as I take a stand for Second Amendment rights. That's Sundays from 8 until 11. I will be on your radio fighting for freedom right here on News Talk 105.
I appreciate you coming on today, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for thinking of the idea.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I want to get more local stuff on the show too. So this is like a great way to kind of slide right into the local stuff, promoting something that I enjoy doing, but something that I'm sure that there's people north of Mooresville, like in Statesville, Troutman, that would love to hear about this and probably get involved.
I love that. That's great to hear.
Now, how many spots are left on the board?
The board of directors?
Yeah. Did you fill everything?
Yeah, it was just right. No, we got about 4 spots left. And actually, community member is one that we're looking for. That's one that's unfilled right now. Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right. Well, I'll definitely make sure to touch on that in case anybody who already knows is listening and wants to get involved.
Sure.
So I got, I'm seeing the Summer Slapper is the 12th, and then registration soon for the fall leagues. Do you know exactly when registration will be up for those?
Yep, we just decided yesterday that it's going to be August 1st, which I think is next Tuesday. Everything's going to be released all at once.
All right, and it looks like from what I'm seeing that you guys are planning on having Waymer ready for the fall league.
Yep, I just confirmed with the vendor yesterday that they have all the payment that they need. Their production is complete, and they're going to ship the dasher boards next week. So I mean,
that's awesome. That is awesome. All right. Man, that thing's going to look so nice once it's done.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of interest in it from people who are like maybe on the fence or didn't really know about it, but I think word's going to spread now big time.
Oh, yeah. We got about a minute left here, so I'm going to turn the mics off and we'll just wait to come back.
Sounds good.
Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Dan Sutton with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 73 and southwest winds 5 to 7 miles per hour. Friday, sunny and hot with a high near 96 and southwest winds around 8 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 74 and southwest winds 5 to 7 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny and hot with a high near 96 and southwest winds around 8 miles.
NC Representative Jeff McNeely.
He overrode Governor Cooper's veto of our omnibus gun bill, Second Amendment bill.
Taking care of Iredell.
Actually took care of some loopholes in my opinion.
Monday and Saturday mornings at 11. News Talk WSIC. News Talk WSIC. Statesville, Lake Norman's most trusted news source.
Good morning.
Enjoy that morning coffee with Justin Kazepis.
Hope, how we doing this morning?
You know, it was a little rough period there, but I'm getting my happiness back, and you're absolutely helping.
It's Good Morning LKN. Weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on WSIC.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Also, big shout out to anybody that's watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I think we're on everything. So, plus the website, WSICnews.com. All of our shows are streamed live there. Here with Josh Greco for the final part of the show. We got about 10 minutes or so to talk about the Charlotte Street Hockey League. A little bit of a tongue twister there as you say it more and more often. But Josh, the CEO of the league, and we were talking a little bit about Waymer Park. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Waymer Park is in Huntersville, and it's where a majority of the events that CSHL does that aren't based in Ballantyne, they're getting new everything, basically. A new spot to play, new dasher boards, and a new surface. So that's exciting. And Josh was just telling me that the fall league, the rec league in the fall, is planning on being on this new surface. Do you think that this new surface is going to make everybody a little better, or is this a pipe dream that I have? Because I'd like to be a little bit better myself.
If you don't get better, it's definitely the surface's fault. That's my motto. No, I think it's going to upgrade the legitimacy of our game. Part of this story is to know what we played on before this. So we played on a tennis court. That's where our games have taken place. The dimensions are interesting, but what has been advantageous for us is that it's all enclosed and on one tennis court. So there's fencing all the way around, and it made for a different style of game. It felt like that backyard feel. And where we're going to next is a bit of an upgrade. It'll still have that backyard feel. The dasher boards, they're going to be plastic. We're going to fill them with pea stone or sand, to be able to have some weight so that they can take some contact into them with fencing on top of that. So anyways, yeah, you'd have to know the history of we played in an enclosed fence area, so it'd be so nice to have boards there, just legitimize our game a little bit more.
Yeah, I remember it's a little different seeing the fencing, and it's just a rectangle that you're playing with. It's almost like you get thrown into the octagon, and it's like everybody's on top of you right away. Now, with the fall league coming up, what day are registrations going to be open for people to join, and who's allowed to play in the rec league?
Yeah, great question. So August 1st, which is Tuesday, we'll have 4 different registrations dropping. So we'll have a roller league down in Valentine, South Charlotte, and also a youth deck hockey league for ages 5 to 15. I think for this audience here, what might be more applicable is to talk about the Huntersville leagues. So there's 2 more Huntersville leagues that will be opening up there as well. One is the adult league, okay, and it'll be played on Sunday mornings. And anybody is welcome, 16 and over. Sometimes we push up some kids that are more talented in our youth program to play as well. But we have landed on an A and a B league. So the A league tends to be for the people who are more competitive and want to connect with other players that have a higher level of skill. And B features a variety of other players, either just starting out in the game or just returning to the game or just seeking more exercise. Maybe they play another sport, lacrosse or soccer, and they want to try a new sport. So it's for everybody and all different skill levels. And then also we have a youth program that's kicking off, or a youth league that's kicking off up there as well. The first games are right after Labor Day, but registration will be open from August 1st to August 14th so that we can get a jersey order in on time for the season. And anyone ages 5 and up is welcome to register for one of those leagues.
Now, tell me a little bit more about that youth league. Is it more of a just like the rec league for the adults, or is it also going to be a little bit of a clinic where if you're younger and just getting into hockey, there'll be a little bit of teaching during the process?
Yeah, more of the latter. What we'll do, especially for the younger kids, is provide some sort of instruction before the game starts. So some sort of lesson on positioning or stick handling or one of the skills of the game. And what we'll do for the younger kids as well is we'll stop the play in the middle of the play sometimes and just show them, if you were maybe standing over here, you might be more likely to get the ball, or you could pass better if you had it this angle over here. Do you see that now? We provide instructions. All of our coaches are volunteers. Many of them have, belong to our adult program and have kids, so they help out with our youth program. It's overall just a great group of people. I have to pinch myself every time I look up during one of our youth games, because I look up and I see all the parents standing by the side, just rooting their kids on. It's just a fun time. It's a fun atmosphere, and it's kind of special marrying up a sport that we love to play and then being able to teach values to young kids and teach them the game.
And if any kids do want to get into that, any parents that are listening want their kid to get into hockey, they would go to charlottestreethockeyleague.org to get into all of that. Is that correct?
That is correct. We've found that we are a nice alternative to a huge commitment with ice hockey, with how much equipment costs and how much rink time costs and how much you have to travel for that. So we are that program where if you want to just try it out, we have extra equipment. You could literally just show up with sneakers and we can outfit you with shin guards and an extra stick and even helmets out there. But yes, that's where you'd go to check us out. We got information on the website, some history about our program and how you can get involved.
Awesome. Yeah. And you did mention one thing about helmets. Now, is that required for the rec league or pickup? Like what's the deal with equipment in that sense?
Yeah, pickup. No, we're much more lax with that. If you want to show up to one of our pickup days, it's you can just bring a stick out there. It's basically at your own will, at your own risk. What we found out, especially after researching some other leagues around the country, that we just got to cover ourselves for liability purposes, but also safety. I do want to mention we have 4 pillars of our youth program that we drill into the kids every time we have an event, and it spells the word surf. So each of the letters stand for something, and the S stands for safety. So we definitely promote safety at our events and just making sure we have the proper equipment. There's injuries that happen in hockey, with the equipment on. So we don't want to give another way to be injured without, properly covering ourselves and equipping ourselves. And then just to finish that off, the U stands for unity. I think we're all united around hockey and our love for hockey if you come out and play with us. The R is for respect, and F, you could argue, most importantly, is for fun. We have a good time out there. We have a blast.
Absolutely. Now, we're coming down to the end of the show here. Speaking of pickup, how do people get involved with pickup? Do they go to the same place, Charlotte Street Hockey League, or is it a different system that you use for pickup?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So we haven't mastered this yet on our website. We found a different website that really makes it easy for us to communicate with people and to put up events. So if you would like to join a pickup event, please create a profile or log into opensports.net. And you can search for our group. It's called Charlotte Street Hockey. And we post events weekly, sometimes bi-weekly. I think we're running 2 pickups a week at this point. But yeah, the website is opensports.net. All you need is an email and a password to create an account. Search for our organization's called Charlotte Street Hockey, and then there's events there that you can RSVP to. So that's the main feature that we like to use, making sure that we got enough people to have pickup games and enough goalies that are arriving, and just a way to communicate with each other.
And that's also an app, correct? Open Sports app.
Yes, correct. You can download that onto your iPhone or smartphone, and it's super easy to use. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Josh, I appreciate you joining me today and talking about the Charlotte Street Hockey League. A lot of exciting stuff coming. With this last couple of minutes, I want to leave it open to you to say anything you like for anybody to know about what you have going on, what kind of openings you might have on the board if there's people who want to get more involved. So I'll leave the floor open to you for the last minute and a half here.
I appreciate that. So yeah, 2018, CSHL officially incorporated into a 501c nonprofit, and we felt it was important to do that because we want to be involved. We want to have that legitimacy, and we want to be involved in our community and give back. So there were 5 board positions that were created at that time, and we established bylaws to have those. The people serving in those positions, it would expire after a couple of years. So every couple of years, we get a turnover with our board, and we have some openings. We're currently looking for a chief financial officer right now. CPA would be great, but it's not required. But we have some needs with budgeting and filing proper tax returns. And our outgoing CFO has just accepted another position. Very happy for him to run another nonprofit. So that position is currently open. And then just recently, we expanded our board to include something called the community member. So as our youth program grows, we want somebody to be able to represent the parents or the community of the hockey organization that we serve. It doesn't have to be a parent, but we're looking for other people to help out and just share ideas. And besides that, I want to give a shout out to our NBHL teams. So Charlotte Street Hockey is providing personnel for 2 teams that play in the Carolina division of the National Ball Hockey League. And they finished their season. They're playing for all the marbles this weekend in Apex, North Carolina, in the Carolina division, this Sunday, July 30th. So whatever team wins, there's 2 teams from Charlotte and there's 2 teams from Raleigh. Whatever team goes on to win that division will get their ticket punched to the national tournament. So we just want to wish both of those teams good luck, and hopefully one of them can make it out there. Awesome. Now, is there any way to live stream watch that real quick? There is not that I'm aware of. They do live streams occasionally, but I think you could follow along on the National Ball Hockey League website, and I think the stats get updated live, but that's it. All right. Well, hey, thank you for joining me here today, Josh. I really appreciate it. And like I said, if anybody wants to get involved, charlottestreethockeyleague.org. We'll be back tomorrow. The new one of. All right. Hey, appreciate it again. Thank you so much for coming on today. That's awesome, man. I just texted all the boys before I hopped on. I didn't think they'd tune in, but like 5 or 6 of them have been texting me, so they tuned in here.
Hey, that's awesome. I'm seeing a whole bunch of comments on the Facebook. I don't know if that's for us but hey, there were definitely people watching. There's still people watching right now. But
really?
you can feel free to join this show whenever you'd like. If there's something coming up that you want to put the word out, let me know. I'll have you on whenever.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to take you up on that. I will definitely be back sometime in the near future. I'd love that.
Awesome. Well, hey, you have a good one, and I'm excited for this tournament on August 12th. Anybody still watching and listening on Facebook, YouTube, August 12th, Summer Slapper, 5 o'clock in Ballantyne. That's at the YMCA, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day, man, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Joe. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.